All right. I think we're live now. Yay. Okay. This is our first NARBC Google Hangout for our candidates who are running for office for at the end of this term. And my name is Kelly Flading, and if we haven't met each other yet, I am actually the membership chairperson for NARBC. And I welcome everybody who took the time out of their busy schedules to come and hang out with us for a little bit and learn a little bit about.
Yeah, they are.
And just to let everyone know that this is not an official NARBC event, but we just kind of wanted to something. I thought it'd be fun to get all our candidates together to kind of just get a chance to hear each other's views on what we need to happen with the future of our indoor rabbits, and just kind of share a little bit, about each other. So we're going to keep it informal. Not really going to have a lot of, it's not a national debate, so we're not going to have a lot of rules and things. Just to be nice and considerate to each other, which we're all very good at. So we'll be good. Let's see, what else we got going on? We did have a couple of candidates who said they weren't going to be able to make our hangout today. So Lynn Wilson, who's running for president, and also Jack Banks on their on the Yahoo groups. So you can contact them if you have any questions or anything. So we just did want to say that. And those are the only two people I heard who are running right now. So just kind of keep that in mind. Also, if you notice up at the top of your broadcasting screen, there are some options. If you want to be on camera right now. Of course, everyone's welcome to, but if you didn't want to, you can turn off your camera up at the top. You can also turn off your microphone and some other little settings up there at the top. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. All right. I wanted to also remind everyone to make sure and send in. Notice that I'm a late person. Probably a lot of people have mailed in their ballots already. Maybe not. If you're like me and you wait to the last minute, I always like to think about these things. Don't forget to send in your ballot, and that is due postmark Sunday, June the 5th. So keep in mind it says postmark. So I don't think the post office is open today. So kind of keep that in mind. I don't know. Maybe it is where you're at, but it's not where I'm at. So that's really about all I have. We can probably just start talking to you guys now. No one. I'm not running for anything. I guess if we could just take a minute and if someone wants to go first, just introduce yourselves and say, I guess, what position you're seeking. And also, please note that you're going to, if you're running as a write-in. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay. Any takers? Anyone want to go first?
I nominate.
We'll just do introductions. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, you gotta forgive my kids, husband, and dogs in the background.
It's okay. Just see my poodle snoozing over there.
I feel bad. My husband's shushing everybody.
Oh.
But I think he might be making the noise. He says hi.
It's all good. Hi.
Well, so anyway, I'm Emily. Since I'm talking, I'm from Ohio. I am running for District 1. The reason I chose to run was just to see more involvement from the directors. We all speak up and say things on Facebook, and the answer seems to be, "Well, tell your director." So I'd like to be that director that can speak up.
Yay! Well, thank you for taking time, Emily, to come and hang out and allow our members to kind of get to know you a little bit. I don't know if everybody is aware, but our little broadcast is live right now, and our members can also kind of watch that and be on there. So that's nice. Welcome, guys. Who are watching us via YouTube. So,
That's
now,
just in here and say
now's our chance. So thank you, Emily. I appreciate that. Anybody? Next up, I guess. Anybody else want to go next? I've got. Let's see. I got Tammy and Shelly. Who wants to go next?
Tammy, how's your connection?
I think I'm okay. I'm sitting inside a coffee shop. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I found the mute and unmute, so I'm trying to mute it when I'm not talking, but I'm where am I? Ontario, Oregon right now. Had a rabbit show in Emmett, Idaho yesterday. Been visiting some friends and family, and I'll try to keep it short and sweet. My plans for NARBC is now Jack is a musician, and from what I've seen the last couple of years that I've been in this, he's done a fantastic job. So I have no clue on how I'm going to do better because he's just on top of everything. He's going to be a great mentor. I'm going to learn as much as I can from him. My other thing is just to keep things running as smoothly as I can and learn as much as I can. The main reason I applied for a position is a better way to learn is to get in and do, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm the secretary for the Northwest Angora Rabbit Association, and I have been having a blast and raising my giants and getting more good giants out there, and the more people I meet around the country, it's just been fabulous. And my bottom line is to have fun, to listen to different members, and to help the group grow, period. And I think the biggest thing in attempting not to repeat myself is bottom line is to have fun. It's a rabbit show, it's a rabbit organization. We have a lot to offer, from fur to meat to God knows what, making all kinds of goodies. It's just incredible to me. Like yesterday at the rabbit show, I had a few things of my yarn and different things that I made on display. People walking from the fair got to, hey, God, you made this? It's like, yeah, that came from these guys, and they got to pet my bunnies, and I might even encouraged a few to learn how to spin, and that's what it's all about, sharing the fuzzy love. And we can't do that effectively without a great organization like our local clubs, and of course our parent club, the National Angora Club, and then above that, ARBA. So my goal is to support the clubs and keep everything running smooth and keep everything obviously utilizing the current technology, and like I'm doing today, piggybacking off some Wi-Fi and some iced mocha on the way. But that's what I have. I'll pass it on to somebody else. Thanks.
Okay. Well, good. Tammy, you bring up the excellent point about, you're right, we live in a day and age right now that we have Wi-Fi, we're able to do all kinds of things, even if you're out and about. That's pretty cool. So we all do have a love of the rabbits, and that's one thing that unites us all. So that's good. And Tammy, you're running for a position of treasurer, right?
Yes, the treasurer position, that's what I'm going for. Woo-hoo. Go big or go home, I say, huh?
Hey, well, it's all good. All right.
Love you.
Ellie, you want to go next?
Sure. Well, my name is Shelly Ross, and I am the newest of everybody running in the Angora world, but I'm not new to rabbits as a whole. I am an active website designer and board member for the American Rabbit Club, where we have granted and registered a good chunk of our herd already on that end, and we supplied all the youth winning essay contest winners this year with new rabbits. And those kids went on to take their rabbits to nationals, and they swept the show up in Ohio with the stock that we provided them for the essay contest.
Wow.
So I'm kind of looking to do the same thing. It's like Emily said, if you want to be a fix, then you need to be involved. So what better way to be involved than to run for a position? And our directorship for down here in our area is already filled and will be filled. But president was open, and as Tammy said, go big or go home, so why not? You know, I am a stay-at-home mom. We run a small farm. My husband is a disabled retired veteran, so I have the time, I have the ability to take the time away from day-to-day things and sit down and talk to members and address what they want done and talk to the directors about what's going on in their region, what we need to do as a club to get the membership numbers up, what we need to do to make things more open and transparent in communication to the membership better than what we've had in the past, or grow upon what we've already had in the past. Because that was a big thing when I joined. I didn't know who our board was. I didn't know who my director was. Didn't know who to reach out to. So instead of complaining, I'm here to help make it bigger and better.
Awesome. You know, that's I'm so happy to see that we have so many people running for positions and a lot of new faces that are coming out to mix in with our more experienced folks who've been doing it for some time. These are the kind of things that a club should just be so proud of, that we have people who are willing to step up and participate and learn and be mentored, and also to mentor. You know, those are the things that keep our club healthy and growing and changing and progressing. It's just changes isn't always bad. Sometimes it can be scary, and, but there's just so many little hallmarks of a healthy club, and one of those is just you know, people getting involved, and you just have a nice healthy mix of new, you know, I'm not talking age-wise, but new and old, and you know, just ideas, that kind of stuff, because we all, just like when you're raising your rabbits, you become barn blind. You know, it happens to all of us, and you got to get out there and participate with your fellow exhibitors and also fiber artists and things to keep yourself fresh and new and keep your perspective I don't know what I'm trying to say, but but you know, you just want to keep things real and honest, and that helps our club grow so much. So I'm really thrilled to see that we have some folks who are trying to participate. We've got a lot of people on the ballot. You know, there's been some elections where we haven't had, you know, we have just one person running every time, and that's not a sign of a healthy club. You know, these are the signs of a healthy club. Lots of people running for positions, lots of people trying to be write-ins. Did we have anybody who's a write-in today here? All you guys are all on the ballot, right? I guess I should look. Yeah, you're all on the ballot.
Okay. On the ballot.
Yeah, and so, but I've seen on social media where we've had some folks who have been writing, you know, have expressed interest in being write-in candidates. That kind of stuff is great. I mean, that's what a club is about. And so, thank you, ladies. I'm sorry. I'll shut up now because we're going to go over, and I guess we'll go ahead and just address. Y'all want to just address the two questions that we had, and you can just say a sentence or two maybe about the questions, or more if you want. You know, we'll keep it, but you don't have to be, you know, super complicated with it. There's just folks that kind of want to know, you know, your views on these things. So let's see, help me out with it. Okay. So our first question that was posted, we did have the opportunity for members to just directly post on the Google Hangout event, but that might have been just weird, and I think you have to get a Google account to do it. So some people just felt better just PMing me questions. So the questions that we got are all PMs that people just sent us. So the first question was, for whichever office you seek, what do you feel is your greatest strength that you can bring to NARBC? So that was our first question. So what's your greatest strength, I guess? So if there's anybody who wants to get started, they can. And then after we do these questions, we'll just take questions from the field, I guess.
Well, I'll answer it first. I think my biggest strength is that I don't accept no for an answer. I would like a why behind the no, and then I would still like the no to be changed to a let's do it. So I think my greatest strength is that I will, I want to take the people's wants and I want to take them back to the board, and instead of the board sitting on it and the answer coming back of no or we can't or, it needs to be submitted, it's more of a let's do it. How can we do it? How quickly can we do it? When can we do it? Instead of just always saying no or putting something off. We need to work as a group if we want to be a group and if we want our group to grow in numbers.
Good deal. Nice. Anyone else?
Well, I guess I'll try to go next.
Okay.
One of my strengths is I've worked various jobs in my career, anything from driving truck to procedure writing to office management to admin assistants, where I've done anything from managerial to God knows what, but behind the work scenes and working with people. So I think being a treasurer, it's going to be a natural fit. It goes along with what I'm doing with our local club, helping track our expenses and getting things going. And I always had, the English language, huge struggle for me. That's one of my worst. But the logic behind numbers and even electronics, that's a number game. I like that because I used to work on the windmills too as a technician. So as long as you can follow the logic and follow a schematic and use the tools at hand, you had it made. So that's my strengths. Besides my the other thing that could be considered a downfall or a challenge is my newness. But I really think it's a strength for me because I don't know better, and I know to ask a bunch of questions on why and why do you do this and how can we improve that. So I think the freshness is going to be a huge asset. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks, Tammy. Okay, Emily, you want to give it a whirl there? What's your greatest strength you can bring to NARBC?
Oh, I gotta figure out how to unmute this.
Oh, we can hear you now. You're good, I think.
Can you hear me? Okay. I have been with NARBC for just shy of 20 years. I grew up under some of these great breeders, idolized them, learned from them, and I've seen some new and some old and learned kind of what I wanted to breed towards. So I think I have a healthy experience with the club, yet I'm still young. So I think I can offer a fresh perspective on some of the stuff we have part of the membership who is struggling with tradition and part of the membership that's struggling with we need to modernize. So I hope I can balance that out for some people. Everyone knows I'm a talker. I certainly have a voice. Not always politically correct in that regard. But I hope people know that, rabbits are the one thing we have in common, and, we all want what's best for our club and our shows, and so if we can unify under that, we can really build this back up to what it used to be when I looked so highly on these members as a kid. So that is, I have some ideas, but we'll see how they get taken to.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you for that. And let's see. And then our other questions, and this, I don't know, this just depending on how you feel about it, might be something that you go either way on. So, and that's fine. Once again, the purpose of this is not to really, be divisive, but just kind of just give everybody, give all our candidates a chance to kind of express their vision of NARBC. And so the second question is, what are your plans, if any, to help NARBC stay updated with technology? And this person is referring to items such as website updates and club communications. So
hey, Kelly.
Yes.
Real quick, I think Lil's on. Can you see if she wants to chime in? I've never met Lil, so hi, Lil.
Sure. Lil, would you like to chime in real quick, just so everyone knows? Lil is not on her position is not up for election. She's our district director for my area, actually, and but she's joining the chat, as any of our members can, by the way. If we have some members out there, they're welcome to join in with us.
Felt bad. I thought she was getting left out.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, I was going to include her in the question stuff once we start doing the just open the floor up to questions. But Lil, please say hi. I wasn't trying to ignore my dear friend. She's waving hi. Okay. Wait, will you join us for the question part then, Lil? Do you have questions? Okay. All right, then we'll do that. So we'll just knock out this last question just so I make sure these folks get taken care of. Then, what are your plans, if any, to help NARBC stay updated with technology? And they're referring to items like the website updates and club communications. And I know a lot of this stuff kind of depends on updated with technology. Depends on board actions and things like that, and we don't have to get into all of that today, but we can maybe talk about your vision, your own personal vision for website dates, maybe, and what's the other thing? Club communications. So of course we all know that you need board approval for any changes that you do. And also, before we start asking those questions, I see that we've got Ms. Colleen Boyd, and so if everyone doesn't mind, just give Colleen a second to introduce herself. And Colleen, if you can just say, of course, who you are and what position, what you're running for, and then we'll go back and we'll ask that question again. Sorry, guys. Hi, Colleen. Oh, I can't hear you, Colleen. Oh, Colleen, you might have your mute button on up at the top. Oh, I think you're good. Oh, no, you're not. Oh, Colleen, you might have your mute button. There it is.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you. I'm so glad you took the time to join us. Appreciate that. I know you're busy.
I'm sorry.
There it is. It's all good, dear. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Colleen Boyd. I've been with the NARBC for close to 30 years.
I'm sorry. It's all good, dear. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Colleen Boyd. I've been with the NARBC for close to 30 years. I've held many offices and worked on many committees. I understand what the old individuals view, and I understand the new individuals view, and I think as a group we can combine them. Many offices and worked on many committees. I understand what the
Beautiful. Thank you, ma'am. I think we've got some feedback on your mic there, Colleen, but I don't know. It's all good though. I can hear your message. Fine, perfect. Okay. So just to ask that question one more time. I'm sorry. Here, let's see. That way, Colleen can hear it. What are your plans, if any, to help NARBC stay updated with technology? I'm referring to items such as website updates and club communications. So, anybody wants to talk about that? You're welcome to speak up. Technology. I'm referring to items such as website updates and club communications. So, anybody wants to talk about that? You're welcome to speak up. Technology. I'm referring to items such as website updates and club communications. Okay.
Sure, I'll jump in.
Okay.
As having been the newsletter editor, I would love to see it go partially electronic to save club money. I would love to see 3 bids on all the technology issues that we're having. I would love committees to be part of groups where they can communicate more often. I want to try to see more committee responsibilities that are communicated.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Anyone else? I've got Shelley and Tammy and Emily. I can.
I'll jump in on the technology side.
I guess I can go real quickly.
Oh.
No, go ahead, Tammy. Go ahead.
It's good, Tammy.
Sorry.
I got you now.
Unmute. Okay. Just real quick. I'm not horribly technology advanced, but obviously I know enough to muddle through. The biggest thing is whatever changes that we want is do our homework, investigation, and making sure it stays within budget, obviously. A wealth of people out there that's already part of our group that does have that knowledge, so I don't see why we can't make committees and do that investigation together and make a proposal and make these changes. You know, it just needs to be steamrolled and get her done. Obviously things that we know and how to do it, but I've seen other clubs in and out of the rabbit world have huge success, so I think we need to leverage on that. Go for it. That's my 2 cents worth.
Good deal. And then I guess Shelley, go ahead, man.
Yeah, we have a wealth of talent in our national club and the regional clubs and specialty clubs that we need to tap into. We have people like Colleen, who's done the newsletter, who can help guide somebody to help move it digitally and save the club a ton of money on the postage. The American Club, we send one out every other month, and we send it out to email. It's all digital. There's only paper copies when we have to send out a ballot for an election. We don't waste postage on newsletters otherwise. It's a waste of funds, and that's a tiny, tiny club with very limited members, even smaller than the Angora Club. So it's definitely a money saver for a club. The website, I think, could become a huge asset, and I think that ties right into moving the newsletter over digitally. And again, we have a wealth of talent in our club that's willing to donate their time and their technical abilities, so we need to tap into it. And when somebody steps up and says, hey, I can do that, I can help design that, we can make that, then we need to take them up on it, and as a board vote on it, take it to the membership, and move it forward.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, ma'am. All right, and I guess Emily, if you don't mind, if you have a little blurb you'd like to throw out there too.
Well, like I said, you know, we're kind of all on the same page here. I think electronic is certainly a way to go. I personally do the bulletin for the Checker Giant Club nationally, and it was pulling teeth getting them to go electronic. The older members wanted their paper newsletter, and the younger members wanted emailed. So it's definitely a learning curve for some people. I'm not stereotyping, but it saved the club a ton of money. When I actually analyzed it, when we looked at the cost of printing bulletins and mailing it, we saved the club almost $5,000 a year by going to electronic. And that's only with half the club doing it electronic. We still have the option of getting them printed. So I know United Club does them electronic, and that is really well received. But, again, it's just a matter of saving some money and making sure people have the information they need. So content can be, added to a little bit, just so, I'm always the one that asks 10 questions. I did about the Hangout, but it's a matter of making sure we have effective communication. So I know there's been some fluff around whether or not we do Yahoo versus Facebook, and frankly, I think more people are not on Yahoo than are not on Facebook, if that makes sense. So sorry, Jack. But there just needs to be some added communication so that it's streamlined, and I think that could also go for the districts. I'd like to have a district Facebook group. That way we can all communicate and collaborate. That way we can get it to the board for discussion.
Good deal. All right. Hey, I got everybody right. We get okay. And so those were our questions that were submitted to us ahead of time. Still do have the opportunity for folks, if they were interested in asking some questions, and that's where we have only one person on who's a non-candidate, I guess, Lil. And Lil, did you have any questions? I don't know if she's still there.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. And I guess I kind of had a question for you ladies. It's been mentioned a few times about it's said in different ways, but about balancing or being a bridge. I think that's the term Emily used. Yeah, being a bridge between the two different groups of people that we have, and of course none of us can be cubbyholed exactly into one group or the other, but in general we have people in the club who are more traditionalists, and then we have people in the club who are more progressive. And I guess for whoever wants to answer, how would you bridge the gap between those two groups? And because that's what any of us, when we're running for any of the offices, I believe they just turn over like half. Is it something like half of the board turns over every few years or whatever? We have just recently had an amendment to our Constitution, but pretty much you're gonna like have half of the incumbents, half of the people who are already being elected right now, and then you have half of the ones who will be elected next year. So you're going to have a mix all the time. So how would you bridge the gap between those folks who are more traditional and those folks who are more progressive, I guess, in your club views? Anybody? Or no, it's a tough question, maybe.
Okay, Kelly. I think at the beginning it's going to take a lot of hand-holding. It's hard for some people who have done things one way to even think about doing something differently. But if we approach it in a positive way, I think we can make it happen. Will it happen tomorrow? No. Hopefully it'll happen within a year. But it's going to take a little bit of time, a little bit of work.
Good deal. Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I agree. It's not something that we need to run down anybody's throat and say, take it or leave it, this is the way it's going to be. But it's called baby steps, you know, and the club can still offer, as Emily mentioned in the other club that she's with Checkers, they can still offer the printed paper to those who just don't want to have to open an email and read it digitally. I understand that. We've got a couple in the American Club. They always mention they're going to print it because they're old school and they want to hold that paper in their hand and read it and highlight. And that's fine, you know, because it's not like we're sending it out to 5,000 people in print. It would be a handful of people in print that would definitely want to have it in paper. And it's going to be baby steps, and it might take having a committee that those people that aren't as tech savvy or aren't as connected socially to help them learn how the communication is evolving so that they don't feel like they're being left out and their voice isn't still being heard.
Good deal. Thank you. You ladies give such smart answers. That's nice.
Yeah,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just to add to what those girls said, I think a lot of it is finding compromise. Like the first step is obviously investigation, making a proposal, and if you can include other people, you have your excellent. Yeah, and then once you support that, bring it to the board, they make a decision. Maybe it's a vote for the membership, but if you've done your homework, it should be pretty easy to find a compromise, and you can't please everyone. Have your goal in mind to better the club, not yourself, not your little tiny area, but the whole, everybody. No-brainer. Well, I shouldn't say a no-brainer. It might be painful, because change is painful, but it's definitely doable. Yeah, so that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else?
I'm going to add to that as well, because I agree it's not going to happen overnight. It never does. And we're not going to please everybody, and there will always be some pushback. But I'm a fan of skeletons and strong framework. So I do think some of these committees that people have proposed and talked about can help lay the foundation work and say, here's a skeleton to work off of if you want to do the, let's say, a national show or, convention or, things like this that, I'm trying to think of other examples, but if we have a skeleton and then we can add the meat to it later, then we can always take in other ideas because there's certainly more than one way to do things. So I like having the guidance laid down beforehand and then we can add to it later. And I think having that mix of the officers is going to be a really good thing because people can speak up and say, well, we've tried it this way before and it didn't end so well. Or we can say, oh, that worked really well in the past, let's do it again. So having that mix in the officers, it's not necessarily, you don't always want to say a bridge because that sort of paints the picture that there's one ending to that bridge, but at least there's a history there and people you can work with on experience.
Good deal. Thank you. All right. Yay. Well, I don't know that, I guess one last final call for questions. I don't know, of course, you ladies, you're NARBC members too. If you had a question that you wanted to ask, you're welcome to ask that too. And I can give you a minute or two if you need to think about that while I'm rambling on. I am going to remind folks to make sure to get their ballots in if you haven't done so already, and so that's your chance to speak your mind. And we do historically we've had some very poor voter turnout, and we've also had some good voter turnout. But just remember, this is your club, and as a member, you're determining the future of NARBC by speaking your mind, right? Whether whether we get our way or we don't. We are speaking our mind, and they're being active in the club. And thank you to all of the folks who have put their name in black and white, or even if they've written in because they're saying something wonderful that they're willing to serve for the greater good of our Angora rabbits, and we all appreciate that. So I guess, do you ladies have any questions?
I would like to know how people are planning on increasing membership. I come from a time when we had over 700 members in the Angora Club. We're down to maybe 3 or 4. How are we going to renew our energies and our members to see this club continue in a fabulous way we know it can be?
All right, that's a good question. Anybody care to, or Colleen, do you have some ideas, since she asked the question, she can get the ball rolling, unless someone else.
Well, to do off of, like, Colleen's doing the fiber submissions, so she can do micron testing. We need to reach out to those, because the club isn't about just showing. We want to encourage people to be raising healthy rabbits to the standard, but we also want them to understand that they're not a single-purpose animal. They're divas, and sure, they're show animals, but they're so much more, because we do use, you know, our animals for meat here. They may go in the freezer for the family. They may go to the dogs. We have livestock guard dogs. But, you know, and I'm learning to spin, and I want to, at one of them, I'm going to snag somebody, and they're going to teach me how to knit or crochet. That's my next goal. So we need to reach out to the other facets and why they have these animals that we love, because their voice matters too, because they're raising large numbers and they're physically doing something productive with the product from the animal. So we need to reach out to them to help bring them into the club and let them know that their lifestyle, their choices, and their voice matters also.
Good deal. Nice, thank you. All right, anybody
I
else?
agree. I mean, we certainly have dual-purpose animals, which is one of the big reasons I have them. I'm learning more and more about the spinning. I do go to a lot of fiber festivals. I'm the greatest fiber artist in the world, but someday I will be. But, you know, I'd like to see the fiber talked about more. When I do go to these fiber festivals, I try to put on Angora specialty shows and explain that it's not just about the rabbit on the table. We do spin them, and we do have 4 distinct breeds for a reason. I think that micron testing is really going to help define the differences a little bit. So I'd like to see the standards committee work more with a fiber committee. And every time I go to these shows, I'm handing out NARBC and UARC is our regional club over here that I'm president of. I hand out membership apps to both. And I say, even if you're getting a wooler rabbit, join the clubs, learn more, get out there and explore more. I like to see wool skein and garment contests held at the same time as specialties. You know, we've got more than just a rabbit, so anytime you're at these events, get those membership apps out and have them give it back to you that day. You know, you can turn it in. They don't have to mail it. Because I don't know about anybody else. If someone asked me to mail it back, I'd leave it on my kitchen table for a year. So
I've never done that.
maybe not a year. Mail my ballot in, though.
No, I've totally done that.
It's in, I promise.
Oh, gosh. Anybody else have any comments? Nope.
Well, I'll just put my 2 cents in worth real quick here. But I think to drum up more membership and keep membership, I've been thinking about that a lot with our local club, and I think it fits with the national club too. There's like 3 aspects, I think. And as a new member, I look at what value does it give me for that yearly membership fee. What do I get out of it? So we want to give them value added. And the other thing is the fellowship. What do I learn from these people? What kind of networking can I glean? It's huge. And of course that goes back to value added, bringing knowledge and meeting different people. And Yeah, and the third aspect is getting involved, going to shows, the fiber aspect, it's huge. And that's where it all comes together. If you belong to this club or that club, I think as a newbie looking at it, I belong to the Oregon Club, I belong to the Washington Club, I belong to the regional, my local Angora Club, the United Angora Club, the National Angora Club, but in reality, what do I get out of it as a breeder? What do I want out of it? And that's kind of what we need to ask our members. How can we bring them their value added so it's worth that 25, whatever it is, a yearly fee that they're getting out of it? Okay.
Good deal. Thank you. That was a really good question, guys. And,
Can I
do we have any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted.
I'm sorry, can I add on? I think it's also important that when a new member shows an interest in helping, that we find a job for them to do. You know, everyone needs to have a purpose to be within the club. And there's always a way of finding something big or small that will get the people involved so they're ready to do the next step.
Good point. Good point.
I have a question for the group because we don't have a specialty club necessarily right here where I live. You know, being down in Florida, and I'm a little farther south in Florida than others. And in Florida, the only Angora they knew about, and I'm butting heads with club presidents and secretaries right now down here because they think when they pull a NARBC sanction that they're pulling an English Angora sanction only, and none of the other breeds are sanctioned because all they've ever seen are English Angoras. So I've now made it my mission to have all 4 breeds in my barn, even if I only ever have one giant Angora that I take to a show, and I have 3 of the 4 now here. And we are trying to educate our state clubs. So how do we better educate on the state level to these clubs that maybe don't understand that NARBC is more than an English Angora cotton ball, and get them to understand that we have other things available to people for showing. We're not just about the English Angora. We're not just about showing just the rabbit. So how do we as a club reach out to the regionals and the states and get them to hold, you know, garment contests, even if we as the member have to do the legwork back to a regional specialty club or back to NRABC so that we can get the word out and bring the membership in, because I would love to see more youth showing. I mean, Mason is 5, and he totes his 6 satin Angoras to the table, and he'll sit there with an elbow on one, a hand on another, and a hand on a third. And he can barely see over the table, but he'll sit there and talk a judge's ear off about his rabbits and why he likes this particular breed and his particular color.
Nice. Okay. So any responses then to how we can you know, work with our state level clubs?
I think maybe as a NARBC club, we need to send out brochures, send out individuals to educate at state conventions, judges workshops, things like in this order so that they understand there's more than one judge. I personally don't show giant Angoras in Michigan. We don't have many judges that really know a lot about the breed. Because like I said, they're English Angoras or French Angoras in Michigan.
Ah, okay, that's a good point. All right. Anyone else?
I think this has been an ongoing issue, is how do we educate the judges? I don't think I have one grand answer for that. My recent idea has been to try to talk with district directors, club presidents in the area, and get into judges' conferences. You don't have to be a judge to speak at a judges' conference. And as long as they know it's not for personal gratification or personal promotion, we're simply explaining that not all rabbits have an English coat. And without getting into nitty-gritty details on that one of the best ways to learn this is by feel. And that's where we get our raw wool samples. We need, they spin up differently. And so, again, these wool skein and garment contests, or even just an educational poster, might help if we have them on display at a show. But the more noise we make about it, the more educated these judges are going to get. I guess that's about it.
Thank you. That was I forgot about judges conferences. That's yeah. Is anyone else? Or let's see. Anyone? Okay. Good deal. All right. Any other questions? Those are all the y'all bringing some. Really bring it today. Some good questions.
Can we take a second to talk about NARBC committee involvement? I'm seeing a real lack of individual committees being involved with things. Like I said, we have a committee that could be out educating the judges on things. I think that would be more helpful if we could actually get the committees to become more active.
Okay. Education. That's a good point. Anyone want to speak about that? Like how to get the committees a little more active? I mean that.
Well, just real quickly, I think it all comes down to follow through, and it's hard because we all are plain people. We have jobs, we have family, and the only reason we're doing this is we're volunteers, 100%. You don't get paid to do anything. It's just volunteer. But on the same hand, these committees and officers and everything we do for the club, you have to be held accountable. And so I'm thinking back in my procedural days, we had action trackers and projects where every month you gave an update on where you were at to like the board of directors. And you keep people on track. If Sue and Henry and George is on committee X and maybe a month or two goes by and they're not making any progress, maybe they need help. Maybe we need a new committee. Probably the more thing, the underlying cause is they just don't know where to go or what to do. And so if you have a board of directors, that I believe the current structure is you have a board of directors on all the committees, but I think they're lacking on follow-through. And I think if we have more of the membership involvement, I mean, I'm speaking from a newbie point of view. I know there's committees and I know there's stuff being done, but I don't hear a word. I don't see anything. So I think more publications, and that's where a new website design, somebody a little more active to publicize the things that are being done or not being done, or bottom line is follow through. And it's not to get anybody of us all succeed, period.
Good deal.
I agree, and I also think that a lot of, not a lot, but part of the issue is that maybe people don't understand what our committees do. The definitions and job duties are very vague, and so they think, well, I don't know my job, so no one will know if I don't do it. So then the other part of that is, like Tammy said, the follow-through. I know I've actually asked to get involved in a few committees, and then nothing happens. So those of us who want to be on the committees, we're either not invited or added or utilized, or whatever that downfall is, or people are afraid to stop when they want to be on a committee, or we could even say, hey, I know so-and-so is really good at X. Why don't we invite them to be on this committee? I think it was Tammy again who said we have multiple levels of talent in the club, so let's utilize these people. I still think a few new committees need formed. And again, these are volunteer positions, so it might be hard to get people on them, but you have to have the right people on them. So a matter of defining the committees and having the right people is going to be a huge change for these committees to be more involved.
How about instead of everything being a committee, that we can have committees that oversee things, and we can have special project chairs, because then somebody doesn't feel like they're roped into this committee, or they're not tied to, oh God, now I have to oversee all of this for so long. But if you say, hey, can you come in and be this project chair, or can you be a project member on this team for this particular item, then they're not having to feel like they're roped into doing any more than that. But they get to see how the club works. They see a return on their investment as a volunteer, and then you hook them and you drag them into something else from there.
Yeah. Good deal. That's a good point. You got to get them with the little stuff. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Any other questions, anyone? So, I have to say myself that I'm so glad that you guys took the time to do this, because it has allowed me, I've seen all of y'all on Facebook and, you know, other social media, on the Yahoo groups and all that kind of stuff. I never really have got to have a chance to sit with you and hear your opinions and hear you speak. And every single one of you, you can just feel the passion and the joy that you get from your rabbits, and all the wonderful ideas. They're all so positive and uplifting. And personally, as an NARBC member, I feel energized. And you know, we all go through these, you know, ups and downs, you know, in life, and just these kinds of events just does make me proud to be an NARBC member, because I've got people who are willing to step up, and, you know, whatever happens with the elections, you know, hopefully the folks, you know, who've been watching are just, you know, taking it in, and whatever happens in the elections, it's going to be good for NARBC, that we've got people who care about, you know, the rabbits and the club on the national level. Awesome. I thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So, I don't know, does anyone have anything else to add? You know, I think we'll probably just go ahead and wrap up things. We've been on for like just about an hour, and we can give folks a chance, just a final wrap up if you want. You don't have to say anything, but I just want to give people a chance, you know, if they want. You guys have all just given just wonderful philosophies about the club and where you'd like to see it go. It's just been really heartening, you know. So, thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody?
Well, I think this has been really fantastic, and I will I'll transcribe it.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. Oh, that would be great. And then our folks who don't get online, because we do have some NARBC members who don't really get online, and that would be great that they get a chance to hear your thoughts. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. Very nice, and I look forward to seeing y'all at the rabbit shows, and, you know, wherever we may meet, convention and all that kind of good stuff. I did, before we go, want to really send thanks out to our NARBC membership committee. Those ladies are awesome, and thank you for giving us, I don't know if you guys know, but we spend time on Facebook just brainstorming ideas of things that we want to do to try to make the club better, and hopefully I will get everybody, but Amanda, Heather, Colleen, Boyd, and Jackie, and Natalie and myself are on that committee, and there's a great group of ladies there. So they all pitch in when they can, and they've all got wonderful ideas just like you guys. So thank you very much, and I'll go ahead and close out this broadcast. So y'all take care. Have a good one. Bye, everyone. Thanks.